Hello everyone, my name is Melinda Hart. You are watching Stamping with Hart. I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! And tonight we are using the Grassy Grove bundle, both the stamp set and the dies. I'm also going to be incorporating the Wildlife Wonder stamp set. And the card samples that you're looking at here, basically the same layout for all of them, but I used different colors of green to give you an idea of what your favorite green might be for the trees. Samples are Evening Evergreen, Garden Green, Granny Apple Green, and Soft Succulent. I used the Stampin' Right markers for all of the branches and tree trunks, which I'll be getting into. And then in the live, I gave the option of the greens that I hadn't yet used. So we're going to use Old Olive. We're also going to use Mossy Meadow when I'm making the cards here on screen. I also asked a question during my live about fall, if it was too early for people to see the fall version with the Grassy Grove bundle, and everybody seemed excited about that and wanted to see it. So after the live was over, I just quickly filmed a version with an autumn look. So if you love fall like we do, then you might enjoy the last card in this project. And then I'll also have still photos of all of the cards up with the colors at the end as well. So basically what I did was I took my blending brush with Old Olive ink, went all the way around the border. It's okay if it's not perfect. I came back in with this tree stamp. It's a trio tree stamp. Went over it with Old Olive ink just multiple times to kind of get that texture and pattern on the leaves of the trees. And then there's like a grassy knoll stamp that I used on the bottom to add that grass texture to the bottom. This is Soft Suede Stampin' Right marker, and I am just using this to go in and color those branches and tree trunks. I loved the Stampin' Right markers for this. I thought they were absolutely perfect. And that is a good way to get that two-tone look and create a scene with this Grassy Grove die. This die is fantastic. It's a great size. So what I ended up doing was cutting a piece of basic white cardstock to 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And that way it was already pre-sized and I could just cut in the image with this fantastically detailed die. If you love nature scenes, you are definitely going to want to get this bundle, and it is available in our mini catalog January to June 2022. So this is Mossy Meadow that I'm working with now. My full-size Mossy Meadow ink pad is a little worse for wear, so I'm using the Stampin' Spot version for this particular card, and I am repeating that process of the trio of trees, creating that texture at the top. Here's that grassy knoll stamp coming in here, and we're just inking that top portion that has that grassy look on it and just stamping that in repeat until we get it to a place where we're happy. Now on this card, I decided to go darker with the branches and the tree trunks, and I did Early Espresso in the Stampin' Right markers. And on the sample cards that I presented at the beginning of the video, I did all of the browns. I did Sahara Sand, Crumb Cake, Soft Suede, and Early Espresso. So you definitely have that variety. So what I realized here was that I had not used the piece at 3 3/4 like I had wanted to. I used my sample piece, so I just had to trim that down a little. Now this is the beauty of the Earth Designer Series paper. I'm showing this because I'm going to be using that blue scene for the background to basically look like a sky behind our scene. But if you don't want to do any coloring, but you love that die, you can use the Designer Series paper in the green patterns or even in the fall patterns and come up with a fantastic layout as well. So don't feel like you have to do all of the coloring or use the blending brushes if you're not comfortable with that. You definitely have options. So now I'm just gluing my layers down. The card base is 5.5 by 8.5, scored to 4 1/4. The basic white layer is 4 by 5 1/4. The blue paper and the tree scene are cut to 3 3/4 by 5 inches. And then we're just going to finish this off with a stitched rectangle, the smallest one. in there, and we're going to stamp See the Good, which is from the Grassy Grove stamp set. Now, I did use some Wildlife Wonder sentiments and animal images on my sample cards. So there's a little bit of both in there. Wildlife Wonder has some phenomenal sentiments if you want to just add or extend the life of this bundle. Okay, so I want to talk about Celebration for just a moment. Celebration is going to end on February 28th, 2022. If you are not familiar with Celebration, it is a promotion that Stampin' Up! Does that when you spend $50 or more before tax in the online store, you qualify for free products that are available in the Celebration brochure, or of course you can see them online too. This is a great time to shop. I have all of my shop links in the description below. If you like seeing crafting tutorials, consider subscribing to my channel. I post 2 videos each week unless something comes up, and then usually it's 1 if I can't do 2. But I highly encourage you to check out the Celebration promotion. There are different items that you can choose from. And if you would get this bundle, you could choose something for free as long as it is over $50, which I believe the Grassy Grove bundle is. But when you look at the quality of this stamp and this die set, you get 3 different deer images there. You get this fabulous scene image. You have other dies that you can use to cut out the different types of trees. It's absolutely beautiful. So here is our fall scene. The colors that I'm using are Pumpkin Pie and Cajun Craze in the inks, and I'm just sort of alternating the colors there. Same thing with the blending brush. For the bottom, I decided to use Evening Evergreen. I'm starting with the blending brush and going back in with that grassy knoll scene. I decided to do a little heavier layering. I wanted to make it look a little bit more thick and lush because fall is just kind of at the height right before everything starts to turn into winter mode, right? So I just wanted it to look beautiful and lush and colorful the way that it does in the fall. So we are back to soft suede for the color here in our Stampin' Right marker. And I was also kind of coloring in on the sides of the trees as well. Absolutely love the way this combination turned out. I decided to go with Cajun Craze card base. All of the sizing and measurements are exactly the same. It's just that with each card layout, I wanted to use a different sentiment, either a different animal or something like that, but keep it pretty simple so that this could be easily for girls or guys, just depending on who you're handing it to. So didn't do any embellishments on these cards. I really let the texture of all of the color that we added to the scene just kind of be the star of the show. I think that this die was just a showstopper. So we'll definitely be doing more with that. But these 2 deer were cut out in soft suede cardstock. These are the 2 independent deer that don't have a stamp to coordinate with it. And I just love how this scene turned out. I ended up using Tasteful Labels, the smallest circle, for the See the Good sentiment that you're about to see here. And I stamped with Pumpkin Pie. So there's our fall scene. This is the soft succulent version here. That's Mossy Meadow sitting down. That one is Garden Green, Granny Apple Green, that's Old Olive, and that's Evening Evergreen.